Welcome to the Ron Lyons Real Estate Show podcast. As usual, buckle up because you're in for a ride. Hey guys, welcome back to yet another episode of the Ron Lyons Real Estate Podcast. Today I'm going to tackle one of those questions that I hear quite often, and I'm going to try and provide an answer that makes sense. And I don't know if I can do that in just the very short time that we have to actually get together today, but I'm going to do my best. I guess, first of all, the question comes up all the time, and it is, when should I sell my home? And I guess the answer that's expected has something to do with charts and graphs and market conditions and things like that, but being the person that I am, that's not how I think. I don't think that you're going to make a decision on when to sell your home based on that for a very, very good reason, based on charts and graphs and market conditions. And let me explain that. The question, when is the best time for me to sell my home, is really a two-part question, because unless you plan on living on the street, or unless you've got some neighbor that's going to let you live in the backyard, or maybe your parents are going to let you move back home, then the other question is, when is the best time for me to buy? So you're really asking two questions. When is the best time for me to sell? And the silent part of the question is, and buy. So we can take a look at all of the market conditions. I can pull up data from the multiple listing service, and we can analyze when you're going to get the most bang for your buck. And of course, that requires just a little bit of looking into a crystal ball that I don't have. But are you really, really, really going to base that decision solely on the amount of money you're going to make selling your home? I hope not. So let me give you my answer. My answer is very simple and very short, but it is going to require a little more explanation. The question is, when is the best time for me to sell my home? My answer is, when you're ready. And I know that sounds so simplified, doesn't it? Almost, it's like, why are you wasting this podcast with such a goofy answer? Well, you have to go a little deeper. You have to actually understand what I'm trying to say. I don't mean just when you're ready. Heck, I'm ready right now, Ron. No, that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is like when you know deep down inside, when it's inside you, it is so clear to you in your gut that it's time for you to sell, that you're ready to purchase, that you're ready for that stage of your life. Then it's time to do it. And I apply the same thing to something like romance or a relationship. And what I mean is this: you can say, well, when should I marry this person? I mean, do you actually expect that I'm going to pull out charts and graphs and explain to you all the pros and cons of marrying this person? No, I'm not going to do any of that. I'm going to ask you to look deep down inside, and I'm going to ask you to tell me when you feel like it's right, when you know deep down in your gut, when you have it inside, when it's burning inside you, and you just know, well, that's the time. That's what I'm looking for with this as well. This isn't a marriage. Buying a home is not a marriage. Buying a home is a very important decision, and you are going to actually do life there. And so it matters tremendously. But that financial basis that a lot of people tend to use is not the most important thing when it comes to making this decision. What I want you to do is to soul search. I want you to look deep down inside. I want you to know that it is time for you to do this. Now, there may be a million roadblocks. There may be all kinds of mountains that we have to cross, and we may have to work on your credit. We may have to work on your employment situation. We may have to search high and low to find the exact, right home for you to purchase. We may have to do many, many things in order to get you to that point. But what I'm trying to say is that you don't need to wait until all the planets align just right and until all the charts and graphs and things like that say that this is the time that you're going to make those extra thousands of dollars selling your house. Because quite honestly, that's like the least important of the entire process. I know I have a completely different approach to it, and I know it's probably out in left field, and 99% of the people out there who do the same job as me would never sit here and speak the way that I do about this situation. They'd probably never answer this question the same way. But guess what? That's how I feel about it. And I know that after you make that decision, and after we do cross any of those obstacles that we've got to cross, and after we do get you into that home, you are going to be very, very happy doing life like that. Because you felt it down deep in your gut. It was just burning. It was intense. And you knew it was right. And we acted on that. On the other hand, you look at charts and graphs and you make a decision to sell because you're going to, pocket an extra $5,000 or $10,000 or whatever. Guess what? You get to live in that house. You get to do life there. You just made a life decision based on a financial number that's not the most important thing in the world. And if that is the most important thing in the world to you, then, maybe we need to consider our priorities just a little bit. So anyways, you know what? Every once in a while I sound like I'm preaching, and tonight sounds like one of those times when I'm preaching. And do I mean to? A little bit. Somebody needs to do that. So if you're thinking that it might be time to sell, we can have that discussion. When you know it's time to sell, when you have it in your gut and you're ready, no matter how many obstacles you have in your way, then we're going to have that discussion. And I'm going to help you cross any of those things that we need to cross in order to get you to your goal, to get you to your dream, and to get you into that life that you want. It may take us a little while, may take a lot of work, but guess what? We can do it. In the meantime, you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to look forward to talking to you on the next podcast. So, as always, be blessed, be safe, and I will see you on my next show.